Welcome back to Mock the Mock, where we take a look at someone else's mock draft and I'm mocking, giving you my views, thoughts, and opinions. Today we're looking at Brian Perez from the Draft Network. We're going to take a look at his mock draft, and you know what that means. We're mocking it, giving you my views, thoughts, and opinions. I feel like I'm being redundant at this point. I feel like I already said that. But what's crack-a-lackin'? It's your boy Broshmo. Just in case you did not know, so go ahead, become a bro and subscribe. Leave that thumbs up if you enjoy the content. As always, let me know what you think in the comment section below. Let's go ahead, get into it. Let's see what he goes with his first pick. That'll kind of dictate what we're doing, what he will probably be doing in this mock. And he goes, Kayvon Thibodeau. Oh, it's been so long since I've seen him at first overall. It's a nice change of pace, I'll say that. For a lot of people, Aidan Hutchinson and Kayvon Thibodeau, they're kind of a coin toss at this point. They're kind of like 1A, 1B. So take whoever you like best. If it's Thibodeau, then it's Thibodeau. Evan Neal, definitely another guy to be talked about here on the outskirts. And for some people, maybe even Kenyan Green, the sticky icky himself. I imagine Aidan Hutchinson goes here to the Lions, and he does. So they take whoever the Jags don't take. Again, I feel like the Jags, the Lions, you could even say the Texans, you're just in this boat of take best player available with all your picks. And I think compensatory picks came in today. I could be wrong about that. Not positive, not sure. But yeah, getting Aidan Hutchinson, that's kind of cool. Get the hometown guy, as they say. So let's see what the Texans do. I would say Evan Neal. Kyle Hamilton also has been a popular mock for some people to the Texans, and it's in fact Kyle Hamilton. So Kyle Hamilton, he doesn't, I don't want to say he gets lost in the shovel, but when you're looking at like positional value, offensive tackle, edge, those kind of outweigh safety, corner, wide receiver, and then obviously quarterback being the top, but this quarterback class is kind of weird. But oh man, I mean, I don't mind it. It's still a good pick. There is a case to be made, like, do you want to pay a safety third overall money? You know, there is that, but Kyle Hamilton could legit be this game changer. You know, like, he is much more, like, you can't just use him as a traditional safety. You can use him in a variety of different ways, move him around the field. Like, there's a lot of fun ways you can utilize Kyle Hamilton, but I think I would lean more with Evan Neal with this pick. I imagine the Jets take him. No, they take Icky. Kenyan Green is now the next pick in this mock draft. That's wild. That's interesting. I guess Evan Neal's going to New York. But yeah, no, if you're the Jets, you're in a good spot to take whoever you like best in this offensive tackle class at pick 4. Derek Stingley's also a consideration here. If Kyle Hamilton is available, I think you could consider him because he's arguably a top 5 player in this class. I don't know. I have a hard time thinking they're like if KT and Hutch are off the board that an edge rusher will go. I don't know, man. I just have a hard time believing that there will be 3 edge rushers off the board in the first 4 picks. But they get Icky. I think Charles Cross is a better fit, but I mean, Icky's pretty darn solid in his own right. I mean, I didn't think necessarily Trent Williams would have been I didn't think he was a fantastic fit for like a wide zone blocking scheme, but he's been wonderful in San Fran. Not to say I thought he would peter out or anything. I just didn't expect him to be nearly as good as he has been. I mean, the guy has been easily the best tackle in football. So, yeah, man. Like sometimes, like when it comes to the coaches, like they just see these players in these roles like ways we don't see them. You know, so like, yeah, I'm not against it, dude. I'm not opposed to it. Just because I think Charles Cross is a better fit doesn't mean you should go him over Icky. I'll just say that. Then Evan Neal, yes, he is the pick here for the Giants. Their offensive line sucks. So Yeah, I mean, I guess that's the best way to put it, right? I'm not trying to hurt anyone's feelings out there, but we all know their offensive line's not that good. The Panthers, they're going Charles Cross as well. So yeah, alert, we have running offensive tackles, no kidding. That left tackle spot is a big question mark. Brady Christensen might be best utilized as a guard. So Urban Charles here. You're stuck with one more year of Sam Darnold, so you could probably wait to go quarterback. I don't know. They don't really have necessarily the assets to, I think, make a big play for a quarterback, unless it's like Jimmy G. I don't know if they want to do that, but yeah. Like, I really think Panthers, this pick, for me, it's tackle or quarterback. This is, like, I think the first pick where I'm really considering quarterback. You can maybe make a case for the Giants at 5, man, but I don't know. Like, you're in a slightly better predicament with Daniel Jones, because he has flashed at some spurts, and like, just look at any other quarterback this season behind that offensive line in New York. Granted, it's not like Mike Glennon and Jake Fromm are like world beaters or anything, but how they just struggled so terribly, and where it was like, well, at least with Daniel Jones back there, they it seemed like they had some sort of fighting chance, even with how terrible that offensive line is. So maybe if you just improve the offensive line, maybe Daniel Jones takes that next step. Is that worth looking into? Like, I don't know if the Giants are necessarily, I don't think they're in play in this quarterback class necessarily just yet. I was about to say that could change with pick 7, but it doesn't. All right. I do think if quarterback's not taken at 6, at pick 7, it becomes a bit more interesting. Like, do you take a swing for the fences on the top quarterback in this class? If the Panthers decide not to go quarterback, or if no one trades up for quarterback, do you decide, hey, we get our pick of who we think is the best quarterback in this class to really like test out Daniel Jones, bring in competition at the most important position on the roster? So I think it is an interesting thought. But David Ojabo, man, he's interesting, man. His length, explosiveness, athleticism. A lot of NFL teams are going to love that. I think that gets him maybe top 20, top 15. Top 10, it'll be interesting. Like, I definitely think if Giants don't go Ojabo here, Falcons should consider it, because their pass rush is probably the worst in the NFL. But the Giants, they address big needs on the offensive line, and then at edge, those are probably their biggest needs outside of quarterback. And then the Falcons go George Karlaftis. Like I said, they had the worst pass rush in the NFL. It makes sense for them to go with, for some people, the edge 3 or 4 in this class. Karlaftis, really good, very explosive. I think he's going to test out pretty well at the combine in terms of his explosiveness. I think he's a very straight line athlete, very powerful athlete. A guy, when healthy, was just money for Purdue. And then the Broncos, they go quarterback. Kenny Pickett. It's really, who do you think the best quarterback is in this class, you know? Like, I've been saying it. For me, it's Sam Howell. We'll get a better look at it, I think, is it next week, the Senior Bowl? Week starts, I think. I'm not positive. I think it does start next week. But yeah, we'll get a better look, because we'll have Pickett, Howell, Ritter, Willis, all there, Carson Strong, and then you got a guy like Bailey Zapp, who's probably more of this day 3, fringe day 2 quarterback. That's where I think Matt Corral's really hurt. He's really hurting. He's not going to get an off-season bowl like these guys. Like, they're literally, you're going to get a good look at the top quarterbacks, except for Matt Corral at the Senior Bowl. I think that's going to hurt him quite a bit. So Broncos go Kenny Pickett. They're a quarterback away. Tyler Linderbaum is the pick for the Jets, so they just straight up address offensive line with this pick. So maybe you move him to right guard, or maybe you do that with Connor McGovern. And then, then at this point, it seems like you have assembled your starting offensive line for at least the next 3 to 4 years with Mekhi Becton, Elijah Vera Tucker, Icky, Linderbaum, and Connor McGovern. That's very promising. I imagine Washington goes quarterback here. Malik Willis. I'm a bit here and there because like some people are trying to say like oh, Ron Rivera, he's not on the hot seat. Again, I'm just saying, look at what happened with Vic Fangio when it's like, oh, you got a great defense. You have parts on that offense. You're just a quarterback away. Why haven't you found a franchise quarterback yet here in year 3? I think maybe if you draft one, it's like, okay, this gives you some sort of reason why that they should stick with you. It's like, okay, go ahead and nurture your quarterback. Again, you're kind of betting your job on whoever you draft at this pick. So Malik Willis would be that guy. So maybe it gives him more years. So it's like, for people to say that they don't think Ron Rivera is on the hot seat, I think he very well can be. It might not seem that way now, but again, we maybe reevaluate this in a season. Maybe the year's not going as they expected for Washington, and you have no beacon to the future where you can really like be like, oh wait, but this is my guy. Just let me develop my guy. You know, that was the problem with Vic Fangio. He didn't have that guy. Drew Lock wasn't that guy. Teddy Bridgewater wasn't that guy. That guy was not on the roster. So now they're going in a new direction, a new coaching staff, and they're probably going to bring in their quarterback to kind of be the final piece of that puzzle. So I think Ron Rivera definitely needs to find that final piece. So I'm starting to get back behind maybe taking a guy, Malik Willis, who who doesn't necessarily have to start year 1. Where originally I was like, no man, maybe I really think he's on the hot seat if like he needs a game changer now. Maybe that's not necessarily true. So yeah. Derek Stingley's still on the board. And he is still on the board. What? Okay, dude. So they go Andrew Booth. Andrew Booth is the first corner taken in this draft class. That's interesting. For me, if the Derek Stingley's not cornerback 1, I would say Sauce. But I get a lot of people really love Andrew Booth. Like I said, he ended the year really strong. And the athleticism, he's going to test out real good. Real good. I think if Sauce has a banger Senior Bowl, man, that more people will be talking about him. But the Vikings, we know their cornerback room's not good. So, yeah, this is good pick. Good pick. Treylon Burks going to the Browns. Look at this. The Deebo Samuel comp is back. It's alive. It's well. It's doing good. Gojo, what are you doing? The Kansas City Chiefs aren't up. We all know you're a Kansas City Chiefs fan. I'm talking to my dog here. Come here, Gojo. Come here, bud. Here he is. Look at Gojo. Dude, his butt was full pucker during that Bills game, let me tell you. All right, Gojo. I got to do a video. You can come back in like 17 picks when the Chiefs are up, all right? Look at him. He doesn't want to do it. He's like, no. Talk about Treylon Burks. I'm interested. Hey, what do you mean? Treylon Burks probably ain't going to be around for the Chiefs pick, Gojo. So you don't have to worry about it. Y'all need to be going defense anyway. Such a good boy. All right, bud. Oh. All right, so Treylon Burks is kind of potentially like, depending on how he tests out, it could end up wide receiver 1. There are rumors, sounds like Jarvis Landry probably out in Cleveland potentially. So, yeah, receivers looking more like a prime pick here for Cleveland. Let's go to the Ravens. DeMarvin Leal. Haven't seen him in a first-round mock in a little bit. He is still, I think, the 6th or 7th favorite in terms of betting when it comes to the first overall pick. Yeah. Listen, I don't think I'm going to be back on Leal as a first rounder until the combine. That's where I think he comes back looking in shape, because he put on bad weight during the year because they were playing him more inside as the year went on, and he was less effective. But I think he he turns that bad weight into good weight. He comes in around 300 pounds, and you see that rare movement, I guess just rare movement for an athlete of his size. So yeah, that's probably when I'll hop back on him during the combine. Here's Derek Stanley to the Eagles. Wow, what a pick. Nah, this is great. This is great if it falls this way for the Eagles. Let's talk about their next pick, though. Kenyan Green. Listen, I think Philly has a great offensive line, even with Kelsey and Brooks potentially, in the final years of their career. I think behind, you still got guys like Isaac, Samala. You got Jack Driscoll, guys that could fill that guard spot. You got Landon Dickerson still. I don't think offensive line is that big of a need for the Eagles. Again, if this is the next best player on your board, then all right. But I imagine that you could dip into the linebacker class here. We did see an early run on edge talent, so that could explain why necessarily they don't go edge here at 16. I think wide receiver is still an option. I know you drafted wide receiver. That'd be like the third time in 3 years, but you have 3 first-round picks this year. You got to use them somewhere, and having more weapons on offense wouldn't be a bad thing. Oh, wow, this is interesting. The Chargers go Daniel Falele. I like Daniel Falele. I have been asked a little bit in the comment section. You'll probably see Falele next time I do my offensive tackle rankings, somewhere around 8 offensive tackle, maybe like 7 or somewhere between 7 or 9, 7 or 10. Because, look, 6 foot, 380. The dude's actually a really good athlete. For a guy that size, he doesn't really have that, hey, I'm going to bury these defenders type of mentality. He's more of the unstoppable object than the immovable force rather than the unstoppable object. Is that what it is? I don't know. He's more of a mountain than a bulldozer. That's probably a better metaphor for that. He's more of someone you're going to have to get around rather than a guy that is just going to impose his physical dominance upon you. But, putting him on the right side's interesting. I like that. He played right tackle this past season, too. So, this is an interesting pick for the Chargers. For me, it's a bit of a reach as of right now. But again, after, guys like Green, Charles Cross, Icky, Evan Neal are off the board, it is kind of who is the next offensive tackle. Is it Bernhard Raimann? Is it Trevor Pettit? Is it Daniel Falele? There are guys with a lot of upside that could take up that mantle in this class. Here's Drake London to the Saints. First off, RIP to the Saints head coach, Sean Payton. Not RIP, not like he's not around anymore, but he is stepping away. He is no longer the coach for the Saints. Will he return to football? Maybe. He's still young enough, man. He's a great football mind. But I don't know, man. It just doesn't feel like the Saints necessarily, they're not in for a big rebuild. It's not like you're in real rebuild mode if you're the Saints because you have a banger defense. I still think they're in the market to bring in a veteran quarterback like a Russell Wilson or maybe a Kirk Cousins, or even Derek Carr. You might be like, where do they got the cap space for something like that? Well, guess what? The cap's going up. They're in actually very good cap position. Again, salary cap doesn't exist if you're the New Orleans Saints. They did a good job last year. They bet that, hey, no, the salary cap will be back up. We'll be in a good cap situation going into the 2022 season, and it looks like that's exactly what's going to happen. So I think they make a play on one of the quarterbacks, but then again, you can make an argument they won't have this pick then if they do make a play on one of those quarterbacks. So regardless, getting more firepower to the offense and receiver if they have this pick is necessary. Drake London would be nice. I would think they would try to get someone that's more of a field stretcher. So we're talking like Chris Olave, Treylon Burks, Jameson Williams. So I'd be expecting one of those guys. Linebacker finally coming off the board. Kind of expected at this point with Devin Lloyd. Eagles, they haven't drafted a linebacker in the first round in 40 years, something like that. You got 3 first-round picks. You got to use them somewhere, right, if they hold on to them. So, Devin Lloyd, fantastic fit, I think. Wow. Ahmad Sauce Gardner. Falling here to the Steelers. Steelers, for me, you know, hey, they need quarterback desperately. Big Ben, he's not coming back. He said he wasn't, right? I don't know. It was kind of ambiguous if he would or would not come back. So I don't think they're going the way of Mason Rudolph or Dwayne Haskins. I don't. There's some people that believe that. I just don't think that's smart. Offensive line, huge need. Grabbing an offensive lineman would be huge, but I think some of the top guys are off the board here, so I mean, going cornerback is probably the next need. I would say it's the next need. The secondary took a significant step back this past season. You got guys getting older like Joe Hayden. I think moving Cameron Sutton back to slot would be ideal. And then what you're left with on the outside is what, like a James Pierre and such. Like you need to add more talent to that position, and Sauce is excellent value here. What about the Patriots? Chris Olave. I like Olave a lot. Someone came at me about taking Olave over Jameson Williams, and then got mad at me because the Raiders are the next pick, and they got mad that my next selection was Williams, and I was super happy about Williams to the Raiders because, like, come on, he's a field stretcher that would be awesome. But Chris Olave, let's not take the wind out of this cat's sails. Like, he is one of the best route runners in this draft class. He's a little wiggly after the catch, which is pretty good. He's a little jittery, but it's not like he's fantastic after the catch. What he is probably best known for is those burners, the guy that can rip off the big play at any given moment. This guy's air yards are insane, and on top of that, he's probably one of the best separators in this class. So I think it would be a great weapon for Mac Jones. In fact, the Raiders with this next pick, they do not go Jameson Williams. They go Roger McCreary. So they go corner, which I do think is a need because Casey Hayward, he was coming off a down year and then he played wonderful this year, but he is an older vet. You don't know when that wall will hit again. And what do you really have behind him outside of Trevon Mullen is really nobody. They need to add more depth to the position. We saw depth was an issue at the cornerback position all year for the Raiders. So adding more talent like Roger McCreary, I think would be good. The Arizona Cardinals, they go Jermaine Johnson. Oh, like I'm telling y'all, how we rank these edge guys is going to be so interesting. Because you could make it, just yesterday, it was Drake Jackson here at USC for when Trevor Sikkema's, his mock. You got Trevon Walker. You got Myjah Sanders, I think is still like a fringe first rounder because that dude's length and explosiveness is insane. I really like Kingsley Enagbare a lot, but it really feels like he'll probably be a guy that's like late first or maybe falls to the second, just because his athletic upside isn't really like he doesn't have the explosiveness or the athleticism compared to some of the guys like Drake Jackson, Trevon Walker, Myjah Sanders. Jermaine Johnson, he's in a similar boat. Like this dude is built like his frame, he looks stocky. It's like he's throwing these big steel beams for arms around. I think his explosiveness is fine. It's not, I think, on a level of like a Myjah Sanders or a Drake Jackson, but he was very productive there at Florida State, former Georgia prospect or player. He transferred from Georgia. So you can make a great case for him being a viable pick here for the Cardinals with a guy like Chandler Jones, who necessarily isn't the most explosive edge rusher. He's just a guy that really knows how to work offensive tackles, really knows how to use his length and everything well. You know, Jermaine Johnson maybe cut from a similar cloth. Travon Walker go to the Cowboys here. I've been saying this for a minute. I really like the fit of Travon Walker to the Cowboys, as this as they you can really use this guy as kind of like that base 4-3, that 5 tech type of position. Like, the NFL is gonna love his physical upside, and I think he would be an upgrade over, or eventual upgrade at least, over guys like what they got Basham there, they got Armstrong. So I kind of like that. So I like the fit. I like the fit a ton. Oh, that be high quality H2O, as Bobby Boucher once said. Zion Johnson going to the Bills. Guard position is, listen, it's probably the worst position for the Bills. You can make a case for addressing the defense, maybe getting a big hog molly like Jordan Davis there in the middle. We know Tremaine Edmonds has been a liability in coverage on that defense, so maybe grabbing Nakobe Dean, who's available here at this pick. I really like the fit of a Trent McDuffie here for the Bills, but guard, mainly that left guard spot. Like Darrell Williams has been fine since they moved him into right guard. It's really Spencer Brown who's really, I don't know. They shouldn't have been starting him so soon. We saw Melvin Ingram give him the work. That's a guy still early into his development. But Zion Johnson coming in, dude that has tackle capability, but probably best translates as a guard to the NFL. I had him go to the Bengals in my last mock, and more so I was trying to just introduce some different guys in my mock draft. Like, I have him, I think he's like 40 or 42 on my big board. I'm kind of retooling my big board right now, but Zion Johnson may seem a bit of a reach, but maybe if another interior player were to jump into the first round, I think it would be Zion Johnson. I'm a big fan of this dude's game. Tennessee Titans. Nakobe Dean. Listen, Titan fans. Zach Cunningham is a replacement level starter. I don't care what y'all say. Y'all are going to be down Jayon Brown, Rashad Evans. They're likely gone after the season. So adding someone next to David Long, kind of ideal. So yeah, I like this pick. It's great value. Darion Canard, man. Here's the other guy people talk about as a first rounder in this interior class, because some people still like him as a tackle prospect. I don't really see him as a tackle prospect, but Canard, he's all right. He's all right, but I still think he's a guard. Like, I really do think he's still a guard in the NFL. I like him better as a day 2 prospect. Him in the first round is just not my cup of tea. We get a run, though, on offensive lineman. Trevor Penning going to the Packers. I mean, we saw the Packers, you know, what happened when they're down David Bakhtiari. He wasn't able, he was like a last-minute scratch in the NFC divisional playoff game. And that offensive line really got worked a little bit. Like, adding more talent to the offensive line doesn't hurt none. I don't mind them dipping into the other parts of this wide receiver class either, because another big issue for the Packers is a lack of a weapon next to Devontae Adams, who is a free agent and they might not have next year. Speaking of which, is Garrett Wilson still on the board? We saw London, and then we saw Burks. I think Burks was the first receiver off the board. So we still got Jameson Williams. We still have Garrett Wilson. So yeah, dude, if I'm the Packers, I'm taking a receiver with this pick. But again, we also know the Packers, so they're probably not taking a receiver with this pick. But Trevor Penning's guy, I think for me, his stock will go up with me after a good Senior Bowl week. Jordan Davis going to the Bengals. This ain't a sexy pick. I get it. The Bengals, they like them bare fronts, those like 5 defensive lineman fronts, but I think they got a good crew there with Ogajobi and DJ Reader. Like, I don't think they necessarily need to add to that. Like I'm like, just this isn't it. This isn't it for me. I think you got guys like Bernard Ryman still here. Yeah, you can go with the corner class with Kyer Elam, Trent McDuffie. Those are good fits. Yeah, nah, I ain't in love with it. Nicholas Petit-Frere. Listen, this dude's a day 2 guy. I get it. He's got flexibility to play either side of the offensive line, either tackle spot. But I think he's a guy that still needs a little bit of polish. He's got a good build, good frame, good NFL frame, but does need a little bit more polish to his game. We saw him get worked by guys like Arnold Ebiketie, who was another edge rusher I didn't even mention, who I'm a big fan of. And Aiden Hutchinson and Ojabo. He got worked this year. He's still got a ways to go. I don't like it for the Dolphins, especially with Garrett Wilson still on the board. Give me a receiver. The Dolphins, I don't want them getting any younger on the offensive line, or at least I don't want them started more youth on the offensive line. You're not going to get an accurate evaluation of Tua if you do that. Detroit Lions. Garrett Wilson goes here. I'm taking him for the Dolphins. Great pick for the Lions, but I'm taking him for the Dolphins. Like, I don't know why he falls this far. That's wild. I guess some people just won't be in love with Garrett Wilson. I think he's a fabulous prospect. For me, still wide receiver 1. And then finally, the Kansas City Chiefs go Jameson Williams. They just add more playmakers to that squad. I'd rather a receiver with size, personally, if I'm the Chiefs. Or, you know what? Let's not talk about receiver. Let's talk about, they could go corner. Kyer Elam still here. They could go pass rusher. Arnold Ebiketie. Kingsley and Agbari are wonderful fits. Yeah, I think those are more. I think defense is a much bigger need than offense here. But Jameson Williams would be nuts. That would be nuts. Can you imagine Tyreek Hill, Mecole Hardman, Travis Kelce, and Jameson Williams? That is kind of scary. That's a lot of speed to deal with. But I won't deny how scary it sounds. But I do think corner and edge are much bigger needs. And you can make a case that best player available would be one of the cornerback options. Even Arnold Ebiketie, I think he's gonna be close. He's gonna be close to higher on my big board than Jameson Williams. They're gonna be in the same realm to where they're close enough that I'm rather take the need rather than necessarily best player available. But it's funky. People don't get it what I mean by best player available. You're not necessarily always taking the best player available. You could still fill a need while taking a guy that's best player available, as long as they're just close in vicinity on your big board. When I talk about best player available, I'm talking about not reaching for needs. So it's like, oh yeah, we could take this guy that we have 20 on our big board, but this guy at 45 really fills a need that we have. I'm talking about like that, so yeah. Overall, this is an interesting mock. I'll just say that. Garrett Wilson, much too low for my taste, but I get it. Good players fall in the draft. Petit-Frere for me just ain't a first rounder anymore. I don't know why people would consider him that. I like him better day 2. Same with Darion Canard. But let me know what you think in the comment section below. That's it for the video. Go ahead and do that YouTube thing. It's always much appreciated, much obliged. And until next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.